welcome to the Jolera interview series. I'm your host, Paolo, Nibletto, the Chief Channel Business for Jolera. This interview series talks to prominent IT executives across the IT industry about technology innovation, leadership, and the current marketplace. Today, we have a real pioneer with us, dare I say it, of the managed services world, and Gavin Garbett, the founder of Enable Technologies way back in 2000. 2 decades ago, the term RMM, or remote monitoring and management, wasn't on anyone's IT vocabulary. Gavin Garbett from Ottawa, along with, to be fair, a few other people from Ottawa as well, really put it on the map and created a new IT economy that we're going to talk about today in the interview. Garbutt does have a brand new venture that he wants to talk about called Augmentt with 2 T's. Augmentt is a SaaS management solution built for use by managed service providers for small, medium-sized enterprises. Please welcome Gavin Garbett.
Thank you very much, Paolo. It's great to be here with you and great to be back in the MSP space.
Fantastic. Well, we really missed you. Gavin, I can't believe 20 years has passed since the start of Enable and RMM, which really took managed services to a whole new level. When you look back on those days, did you ever think it would lead to what's in place today?
Well, it's I have a theory: go big or go home. So I like to look for opportunities where we can really make a difference in an industry and with business owners and help their businesses. So, our ambitions were always world domination in our space, no question. But we could only achieve that by sincerely helping the partners improve their business models. And making them crazy raving fans so they'd keep coming back for more and more and more. So I'm thrilled with what we were able to achieve at Enable, and I'm as excited with this next chapter with Augmentt.
Before we go into Augmentt, do you consider yourself a pioneer?
I don't think. I think I'm more of an innovator, and when we say this. It's kind of like when we started the RMM space, a technician could manage about 120 devices per technician. Mm-hmm. And my goal was to get them up to 1,000 devices per technician. So how can we use technology to innovate the service delivery model and enable that to happen? And in this next chapter, I'd like to see it get up to 10,000 devices per technician. So, I guess I like to look at old industries and see how we can innovate them. And that's my passion, is figuring out how to do things better and smarter to make it more profitable for the managed service provider. That's my passion. If I can help that small business owner achieve those financial goals and be leaders in their space, then that gets me excited and that moves me forward.
So I have a follow-up to that because I think it's really interesting how it developed into a whole IT economy when you got Enable rolling up, and later it was acquired by SolarWinds in 2013 because it's still going strong today. I mean, we have a part of our own solution set. But talk about some of the challenges, some of the not pitfalls, but like hurdles you had to go over to start creating this IT economy.
So 2000, right? We're just out of the .com bust. And so we're creating this technology to enable managed VARs to go from a reactive service model where their whole value of their business was being inside the customer's environment and fixing stuff. If I had a tool in my hand and I fixed something, wow, I'm your hero. Where we're saying, no. You're going to use remote monitoring and management tools to take your business to the next level. And the aspiration is, again, back to that concept of a technician who can manage 120 devices at $60 a month per device. We're going to turn that into 800 or 1,000 devices per technician at $60 a device. And your profitability is going to go from 2 or 3% EBITDA. It's going to go up to 25 to 30%. How's that? And so, that was what we were out there doing. But honestly, it probably took 3 years before we got our first inbound lead. It was all getting on the phone, going out and meeting VARs, and trying to convince them that this was a good idea. So it was tough. We were on the leading edge, and we slid down that razor blade for the first couple of years. And then all of a sudden the traction started, and 10 years later, everybody was a managed service provider.
Yeah, it's crazy. So let's talk about Augmentt. It's your new venture. What are you trying to address in the marketplace with the new solution?
Well, it's funny, Paolo, because it's exactly the same problem as we were solving 20 years ago. So Enable actually started because I was looking for a venture. And I was at a cocktail party at Christmas time, and I was speaking to a $5 million VAR, and I said, what's the one thing you could do to your business that would really propel it forward from a profitability perspective and from an operational efficiency perspective? And he said, geez, if I could only remotely monitor my customers and know what the problem is, so I either didn't have to roll a truck, or I could fix it remotely, or I would know what parts to send with the truck if I had to send a truck. And I looked at the guy and I said, you're crazy, right? There's HP OpenView, CA Unicenter, IBM Tivoli. And he said, yeah, but those are all enterprise applications. There's nothing for small and medium-sized businesses or for MSPs. And so that's how Enable started, was from that conversation. Eureka! Here's an opportunity. So we fast forward 20 years, and all of a sudden, all of these devices that the MSPs have been managing are all moving to the cloud. And the important part of IT is no longer devices in the environments, it's the applications that their customers are operating in the cloud. So my view has been that managed services, the next pivot, just like RMM was 20 years ago, is actually about cloud service management, application management. And that's how MSPs are going to help their customers improve their business performance, is by helping them manage the application. Make sure they have the right applications, make sure they're integrated properly, make sure all of their security holes, because the security is, yes, there's still security issues on-prem, but there's way more security issues in the applications. And guess who's managing those today? Nobody. The MSP is not managing all of those SaaS applications for their customers, so they don't know if there's duplicate applications. Do they have, storage with Microsoft and a Dropbox and another application, and how many CRMs happen to be, or how many emailing applications, and where's the data going? Is it centralized? No. When a team member leaves and they were using an application, does all that go with them? Yes. And what is a consolidation of the billing and the utilization of the applications per employee? So are the employees being efficient? We don't know. Now, and you look at the enterprise space, you've got companies like ServiceNow doing $4 billion a year in revenue, growing 34% year over year, selling these types of applications to enterprises. You've got companies like Better Cloud that are selling these applications to enterprise. The enterprise level is eating it up, but guess what? There's nothing for small and medium-sized businesses or for managed service providers to service SaaS management for their customers. So here we go again.
What's the extra T in Augmentt?
So Augmentt, and then T is for technology. So we're augmenting technology.
I got you. So basically you've explained that you're trying to basically build the next generation RMM tool again, right? But from a SaaS perspective, from the application point of view, why don't you think it wasn't already on the marketplace? Why did you have to come up and make this thing happen again?
I think it's the same reason. First of all, it's hard. We've got a big team of engineers who've been building this. It's not an easy nut to crack. So I know that some of the RMM vendors have taken a stab at it, but it's not their primary focus. It's not what they live and breathe. And so they just weren't prepared to make the real investment into it. Where this is all we do. We're about SaaS management. So an MSP can go into their customer's environment, do a 10-minute discovery, show the customer all of the IT applications that are in there. So they're most probably aware of 20 or 30, but there's usually 3 times as many. Almost always. It's hysterical. And so you can identify the shadow IT versus the approved IT versus the unknown SaaS applications. And then you can right size them. The duplicate services or stuff that was bought 6 months ago that was corporately approved, but then the team decided there was another tool they like better. And it's so easy to sign up. You sign up and you get a bunch of people. So now they can see by employee, by department, who's using what applications. They can block certain applications that they'd like to, so they can put proper security policies around these SaaS applications and around the data that goes into these applications. And then they can also do cost analysis. So great, let's understand this department is using these tools and it costs this much. And this individual happens to be using a lot of these peculiar tools, and why is that? So getting into that whole management side from a security, from a cost, and then from an administration, onboarding, offboarding, change management, implementing different security policies, all that kind of thing. So this is, somebody has to do it for the small and medium-sized business. And our contention is that it should be the managed service provider. And every MSP we've spoken to says, yes, absolutely, we get it. We have to go there. This is the next generation of managed services.
Well, let's talk about the as-a-service market and where do you see it heading? What's your take on that?
Well, I think everything's going as a service. I don't think there'll be, first of all, every vendor wants to be selling their products as a service because the recurring revenue stream is just much more beneficial for the business. And then every consumer and small business wants to buy as a service because it provides them much greater flexibility. Easy way in, to try it, to test it, and if they want to get out, it's easy to get out. So it's absolutely the best way for both parties to run their businesses.
Now, you're starting Augmentt during a worldwide pandemic. I don't know if you're aware of that. And also after a major lockdown, what's the experience been for you from that point of view during this incredible time in history?
Do you know, it's funny because when Derek and I set up Augmentt in October of last year, our whole model was about a distributed employee workforce. And so we didn't care where our team members were sitting. They could be in Vietnam, Australia, Germany, Toronto. We don't care. All we want is the best people. So, and if somebody wants to work for us 20 hours a week, that's great. If they want to work 40 hours a week, that's great also. And we understand how to manage task-based services. And so for us, it was quite interesting because it didn't change our employment practices or anything. It just seems the whole world seemed to adopt a similar model. And we thought we were going to be unique. So it really didn't have much of an impact. And we were very, very lucky in that our past team members came to us in droves saying, look, we'd love to be part of this startup with you. And this sounds exciting. It just makes sense. So we've been very, very fortunate in this.
Do you think this is what we're experiencing now is the new normal? Like I've spoken to a lot of executives about the COVID-19 pandemic for this series, and they believe this is the new normal. Do you see it the same way?
you have a situation like this, and I like to think that necessity is the mother of all opportunities, and change to me is always an opportunity, and I believe sincerely that it will take us many years to figure this out. So I don't believe in a new normal. I believe in a constant changing environment, that you have to be agile and be looking forward and measuring all of your key metrics and understanding how you need to adapt to that change. Because some companies will bring people back in to their environment. Many employees are moving out of the cities, away from the offices, and they want to work remotely. So this will take time for people to figure out what's that right balance. And the beauty is we're going to have so many new technologies to support workers who are part-time remote, part-time in office, that I think it'll be very interesting to see how things evolve. And I think we will see a form of distributed workforce going forward from now on, particularly because I think a lot of the millennials enjoy it, and they are our future workforce.
I know it is. Not yet, but soon. Listen, any lessons learned from this time launching Augmentt as opposed to 20 years ago when you launched Enable?
Well, I think one of the things that most impressed me in this launch is karma. And, we were sincere in our desire to help these managed service providers improve their business model. We provided them with all the sales and the marketing and the technical support to change from this reactive to a proactive to a managed service provider. And we personally, bled to help our partners be successful. And we did massive freemium programs to help partners get out there and help them drive business. And so here, I fast forward to launching Augmentt, and the response that we've had, Derek and I have had from the channel, has been absolutely exceptional. So Derek has been in this as long as I have. He was our first employee, my VP of marketing and business development. Then he stayed on with SolarWinds in VP of marketing in the cloud services area. And so the number of people that we've been in contact and who appreciate the fact that we were sincerely trying to help them, and now we're launching this, and they're coming in droves saying, we want to try your product because we know you, we know what you did for us in the past, and we believe you're going to do that for us again. And that's, it's kind of nice. So my point is, I think I already knew it, but if you do nice things for people and you're sincere about it, people will come back and do nice things for you.
That's what karma's all about, right? So final question. So you're an industry leader, and we're currently still in a time of crisis. How do you manage people and handle times of crisis as a leader?
Well, first of all, the customer, you've got to be open-minded and listen to the customer and to the team members, and then back to that flexibility concept where you have to be ready to change and adapt to the situations all the time. But I think one of my core beliefs is always looking at every situation from the other person's perspective, not my perspective. I believe if I help that person first, they will come back and help me, and we'll both win out of this equation. I think that's one of my biggest learnings, even more so in a situation like this, where empathy, listen, and understand from other people's perspective, and then help find a solution that's going to be best for everybody.
Okay, great. So I'm all out of questions. Anything you want to add?
Just that we would, for all MSPs listening out there, we would love you to come to our website at augmentt.com, 2 T's, and have a look and do a free trial. We have a very strong freemium program for MSPs to go out and discover their customers and prospects environment, show them where all these security holes are and savings opportunities are. So take advantage of it. We want to invest in you because, again, we know that it'll come back and we'll all win together.
So where can people find you online or on social media?
Well, social media, you can find me or Augmentt on LinkedIn, of course, and we have lots of great information there. On the website, and we have a newsletter, so www.augmentt2ts.com. And if you want to learn about SaaS management, we're investing very heavily in the educational aspect. We have a lot of great papers on that. We also have an academy, which is a portal, a very sophisticated training portal for managed service providers to learn exactly what application management is, how to do it. So whether you're talking about Salesforce management you want to get into, or you want to improve your Microsoft 365 management, or whatever it happens to be, we have the tools to help you.
Fantastic. Well, Gavin, thank you very much for your time. The chairman of Augmentt and the founder of Enable. Gavin, thank you very much for your time and your insights. Really, really tremendous. Best of luck with Augmentt too. That's it for me, Paolo Nibletto, signing off for the Jolera interview series. Until next time, so long.